Opening shot, Fog-laden, gaslit street in Victorian London, perhaps a dark alley. Eerie, suspenseful music begins. Narrator, late 19th century London. A city at the zenith of an empire, yet plagued by poverty and stark inequality. In the labyrinthine streets of Whitechapel, in the autumn of 1888, a different kind of darkness descended, a terror so profound it would embed itself into the collective consciousness, its shadow stretching over a century. This was the reign of Jack the Ripper. Visuals, old maps of Whitechapel, newspaper clippings, grainy photographs of the era. The East End was a crucible of destitution, a place of overcrowded tenements, squalid conditions, and desperate lives. For women who had fallen to the streets, survival often meant navigating perilous anonymity. It was amongst these vulnerable lives that a predator found his hunting ground. The murders began in late August, with the brutal slaying of Mary Ann Nichols. Her throat slashed, abdomen mutilated. It was horrific, but initially attributed to gang violence. Visuals, sketches of the victims, police files. Avoid overly graphic imagery, focus on the historical documents. Then came Annie Chapman, just 8 days later. Her body, found similarly disfigured, signaled a chilling escalation. The surgical precision, the removal of organs, this was no random act of brutality. This was something far more sinister, far more deliberate. Panic began to grip Whitechapel. The press, initially reserved, now exploded with sensational headlines, fueling a pervasive dread. Visuals, newspaper headlines, caricatures of the monster. In September, the horror intensified. The night of September 30th became known as the double event. Elizabeth Stride was found with her throat cut, but no further mutilation, perhaps interrupted by an approaching cart. Less than an hour later, just streets away, Catherine Eddowes suffered a fate even more gruesome than her predecessors, parts of her kidney and uterus removed. Her mutilations were extensive, leaving little doubt that the same monstrous hand was at work. Visuals, scenes of police struggling with crowds, early forensic attempts, chalk outlines. The Metropolitan Police, already stretched thin, found themselves utterly overwhelmed. Forensic science was in its infancy. Fingerprinting was nascent, DNA analysis non-existent. The cobbled streets and dimly lit alleys offered few clues beyond the blood-soaked scene. Witness accounts were contradictory, often unreliable. Suspects were numerous, ranging from local butchers to deranged doctors, from foreign sailors to even members of the royal family. Each lead, each theory, vanished into the swirling London fog. Visuals, close-up on a letter, handwriting analysis attempts. Amidst the chaos, letters began to arrive, purportedly from the killer himself. The Dear Boss letter, signed Jack the Ripper, was the first to coin the chilling moniker that would forever define him. It taunted the police, promised more killings, and contained a macabre sense of humor. Another, the Saucy Jacky postcard, arrived just before the double event, seeming to predict the simultaneous slayings. Then, perhaps the most infamous, the From Hell letter, accompanied by a small box containing a preserved human kidney, allegedly from Catherine Eddowes. Whether these letters were genuine communications from the killer or cynical hoaxes by opportunistic journalists, they amplified the terror and solidified the Ripper's legendary status. Visuals, portrait of Mary Jane Kelly, contrasting with the dark alleyways. The final canonical victim was Mary Jane Kelly, in early November. Her murder transcended all previous acts of savagery. Her body was found in her own room, a scene of unimaginable horror, her mutilations so extreme as to be almost ritualistic. The privacy of her dwelling allowed the killer to spend hours, undisturbed, engaged in his horrific work. After Kelly's murder, the killing suddenly, inexplicably, stopped. Just as abruptly as he had appeared, Jack the Ripper vanished, leaving behind a trail of blood, fear, and an enduring mystery. Visuals, close-ups of various suspects, shadowy figures, illustrating the uncertainty. Over the decades, countless theories have emerged, thousands of books written, dozens of films made. Was he a Polish immigrant barber named Aaron Kosminski, recently identified through DNA on a shawl, a claim still hotly debated? Was he Prince Albert Victor, Duke of Clarence and Avondale, shielded by the monarchy? Was he a deranged artist like Walter Sickert, or an American doctor? The sheer volume of suspects, each with compelling but ultimately circumstantial evidence, only deepens the enigma. Visuals, modern-day Whitechapel, contrasted with historical images. Researchers poring over documents. The enduring fascination with Jack the Ripper is not just about the horror of the crimes, but about the profound societal questions they raised. The failure of Victorian law enforcement, the plight of the poor, the dark underbelly of a rapidly modernizing city. He remains the quintessential unknown killer, a spectral figure in the annals of true crime, a grim reminder that some shadows, once cast, can never truly be lifted. His identity remains perhaps the most tantalizing, the most frustrating, and the most compelling unsolved mystery in criminal history. The fog of Whitechapel never truly cleared, and the Ripper's true face remains hidden, forever etched into the dark corners of our imagination. Closing shot, a final, dark, empty alleyway. Fade to black with a lingering, unresolved chord.